good chance that you're either still in high school or a lower tier college student. It is summertime and you don't really have anything to do. You weren't able to land yourself in a program or an internship. You're not taking any summer classes. So instead of just letting summer go to waste, you decide to get a part-time job to just have some pocket change. Since you don't really have any skill sets, it's kind of difficult for you to find a job. You search up local jobs near you and you see dishwasher, busser, guest services, store assistant, cashier. None of these roles specifically spark any real interest in you, but you say you'll give it a shot. You can't be too picky. You don't have any skill sets that are worth notable amounts of money yet. So you put open availability at every single position you see and pretty much desperate to see whoever can just take you. You're not being too picky with the selection process. Literally whoever will take you, you'll end up working for. So before you know it, you get an email back and they ask you to come in and interview. It's probably the easiest interview you've ever seen, easier than the fake ones you see in comedy movies. And you don't even think that they're serious with some of these questions that they ask you. But it's whatever, and you actually do really fine, and you end up accepting their job offer, and they tell you start tomorrow. They post your shift to the email that you provided them. You've seen that they give you the closing shift. The shift is from 5 p.m. to midnight. You've never worked a shift this late before, ever. You're so used to going to class in the morning and, leaving around 3 or 4, maybe 5, coming home, doing homework, showering, go to the gym, whatever. You at least have the rest of the day to spend however you choose. 5 to 12 doesn't give you that option at all. You understand that right now, but you really could use the money, so you say you'll just try it. You go in there with open arms and at least give it a shot. Your first shift goes. You get kind of cool with some coworkers, and the more shifts you work with them, the closer you feel that you are to them, the more laughs you guys have. They're around your age too, so you kind of start to think it's actually normal to be working this type of shift. And before you know it, you're here for about a month, 2 months, and most of summer's gone now. You didn't have any time to vacation. You didn't have any time to plan with your friends that you had before you went into work. And the friends you did make at work, you can't really hang out with because they're leaving at midnight just like you. You guys are tired. The moment the clock strikes 12, you guys literally march up right. You guys literally run right towards the clock out button and just sign out. And sometimes people are in such a rush that they don't even say goodbye to one another. But it is what it is, and you just start to realize on your drive home that it gets less and less fun each shift you go in. And you kind of get to a point where you wonder if this job is even worth working anymore. I mean, it's 2 months into summer. You haven't had any real summer fun. You start to realize that it's taken a complete toll on you. You used to have such a good sleep schedule. You used to wake up at 7 or 8. I recently worked the night shift at the job that I work at currently. And I was one who would like to wake up early, go to bed early, and it was something that allowed me to function properly. But what I realized with working a 5 to 12 shift is I wouldn't get home till so late that my sleep schedule was affected drastically by this. If I got home at 12, I actually went to bed towards 1:30 or 2:30. And 7 to 8 hours of sleep on this is now waking up at 11. This is insane for someone who used to wake up at 7 a.m., 7:30 with no issue. I would wake up at 7 a.m. with no alarm. I just didn't need it. I would wake up naturally, energized and motivated to take on the rest of the day. But with me waking up at 11:30, sometimes even 12, I had no desire to want to get out of my bed. And I would feel as if the day was just completely rushed. Because if I was waking up at 12 and I had work at 5 and I wouldn't leave the job till 12 a.m. and the only thing I could do once I got home from my job was maybe eat something if I wasn't too tired to cook, or just consume content mindlessly. I don't know how I tolerated this for so long, for a month and a half, maybe even 2 months. But I know now that it wasn't worth it. The friends that I made at the job, whoever I was talking to, whatever experience I was getting, I didn't need to have. I didn't like waking up super late in the day. I didn't like going to bed super late, and my production as a whole just was completely getting destroyed. Before we continue this video, for those guys that are serious about changing your life, click the link in my bio and book a call with me today. Let's get you to live that lifestyle you were destined to live. I remember walking into my next shift, literally complaining to my coworker on how dumb we are for working this shift. I mean, he agreed, but he didn't seem to really care too much because he was leaving when school starts. So he only had like a little less than a month left of working at this job. I know a lot of you guys will make the argument that, hey, some people have to work the later shift based off compensation reasons. I know some places, especially like warehouse jobs, if you're working a later shift, they will pay you drastically more, and that kind of entices people to do that. Or if you're a server at like a really popular family restaurant, that they make significantly more at night. But unless you really need the money, like I'm talking you have bills to pay, or you have a family that needs medical attention, if it's not something that's drastic, I promise you it's not worth the other areas of your life that you will see suffer if you take that night shift. We're just not meant to operate as productively waking up at noon and having only 5 hours to work, whereas you can, let's say, wake up at 5 a.m., work till 8, so 3 good hours of hard work. You go in from 9, work till 5, and you probably get back home at 5:36, have an hour to either chill, get your mind right, and then do a little bit more work before you go to bed. I like this setup a lot better. I can complete my routines way more easily. I can go to bed on time. And the best part is getting out at 5 means you have the rest of the day to spend however you want. If you don't want to do work that day, you can meet up with some of your friends, go on a drive somewhere. There's activities, there's options. But when you come home at midnight, nothing is open. It is dark, people are sleeping. You know how depressing it is to come to your house at night, open the door, and not see a single light on. No one's there to wish you good night or greet you. Everybody is sleeping. You gotta kind of sneak in quietly. You don't want to close the door too loud. You don't want your dogs to bark and wake everybody up. You don't want to just be a nuisance right now. You simply just want to go to bed as fast as possible. And the thing is, when you just come off the job, your body is still wired. You still have energy within you. But you don't want to have this right before you go to bed. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for you to sleep. And that's why so many guys will get off the night shift and just start scrolling on social media, spend a lot more time, expose themselves to blue light, and it just makes their sleep disgustingly bad. It's not worth it, I promise you. I understand you might have that little bit of financial incentive, but at what compromise? Really consider that before you take the night shift. Another thing I realized about most night shifts in general was during your night shift or during your shift period, it is a lot more work than the job would be for a daytime shift. If you aren't even getting tips, if you're getting a standard wage from an AM shift and a PM shift, you should not be working a PM shift at all. There should be no reason. If you are currently working a PM shift and you don't get paid anymore, you don't get paid a significant amount of money to give you an incentive to work at night. If you are getting home past maybe 10 o'clock and you aren't like preoccupied during the day, change your shift. Literally go to your manager, your HR, whoever who's in charge of scheduling you, and tell them you cannot be working the PM shift anymore. They might try to threaten you and say, oh, I don't know if you're right for us, or it takes 2 weeks for us to change your availability. Literally tell them, I apologize for the inconvenience, but I can only work the AM shift. Whether that be a 9 to 5, a 10 to 6, an 8 to 4, whatever that time range is, but you should not be getting home at absurd hours, especially when the pay difference isn't a thing. If they try to throw something up saying, oh, I don't know if we can still keep you, or they give you some sort of excuse to make you kind of hesitant about your schedule, you need to stay firm with what you say. Otherwise, the company will literally schedule it the worst possible shift. They don't care, bro. They will give you the most tragic shift time and expect you to work it with no complaints. So it's up to you to stay strong and, hold your ground, bro. Don't let them intimidate you. I don't care if they're older than you. They don't really have your best interest in mind. You know yourself better than anybody else. And if you don't stand up for yourself, literally nobody will. And if they, for whatever reason, say, hey, we can't accommodate that, just leave. Literally leave. You can find another job, bro. You can live off whatever amount of money you have saved up in the meantime. It's a difficult decision, and it's kind of hard to walk away, especially if you've been at this place for a little over a month. You kind of feel like you belong, you have connections, you have relationships with the people that work there, and you made friends, man. And it's going to be hard to let them go, but you can't expend your future in the process. You can't kind of make yourself vulnerable to failing in a bunch of different areas just for a job that's paying you minimum wage. It's not that serious, bro. I know it seems like a big decision, but the sooner you make it, the better. And ultimately, if you have to find another job, wish you nothing but the best in that process. You will find something. You will find a company that will accommodate you and give you normal hours. So it's not like you're searching for a needle in the haystack. Keep believing in yourself, work good hours, and then be able to spend the summer how you should, bro. Your summer is literally meant for you to be taking time off from school or time off from the job that you're working at. You need to go places. You need to experience life. You have to be a human, dude. I don't know anyone who's not taken a vacation an entire summer and say, I am glad I made that. Even if you're grinding, take a day off, take 2 days off. You need to enjoy life, bro. Otherwise, you might have all this money later on and then you have no one to share that experience with, or you might even get into a situation where you can't work anymore, you can't make as much money, it might be a health condition, and you're going to regret all the opportunities you passed out on and all the summers that you failed to make the most of. I had to learn this the hard way. I used to not think that you should have to vacation during the summer. I literally thought that you can continue to grind. And in the years that I did grind, I definitely made progress in many areas, but vacationing is one of those things like you don't realize how much you needed it till you actually take it. Like this summer I went to Canada and I loved it. I was there for a little over a week. I was able to catch up with family members I haven't seen in a while. I was able to just be in a different country, different surrounding, different setting, different food. It was great. It was so great. I got to do outdoor activities and just spend time with my loved ones. It doesn't get much better than that. And no amount of work in any area of my life or any like financial area I could say would be put over that. I literally couldn't do that. I had so much fun that, I realized that, okay, this is what we do this for. We do this to take care of the people we love and share as many experiences as we can with them before, it's inevitably time for them to go.